Okay, heading into the bye week at 4-2. Wish maybe we'd been a little bit better than that, but we're in a good position. Proud of the way we responded yesterday, obviously after a really poor start and getting down 21-0, to fight back and win that game. We talk about it a lot. It's really complimentary football. To us internally, it doesn't matter, whether it's the defense who's hot, the offense, special teams. We're a team, so we'll do whatever it takes. High scoring game, low scoring game. One of the things we talked about after the game was, we still have a lot to prove. I mentioned this to the team. I said, we still have a lot to prove. But one of the things that we needed to prove, we proved today that we can win a game like that. That's an important box to check off. So was proud of the way we handled it in all three phases there, because make no mistake about it, I've been in enough games like this, not a lot, but enough when you come back from a lot of points to understand that it's not just the offense, that the defense has to shut them down, special teams has to be on point, and it takes all three phases when you're down 21-0 to come back and win a game. So feel good about where we're at, and now just into the bye, get rest, heal up. We'll get a little bit of work done. We'll get the players, here tomorrow. We'll go over the game with them like we would. It'll be a normal Tuesday for us tomorrow, and then we'll get them in the building on Wednesday for a few hours. Just do some self-scout stuff with them, what we've done right, what we can do better, coaching, playing, just some thoughts to give us some things to food for thought, over the 4 days of rest before we get ready to go for the next week. No injuries from the game yesterday, so that's good. So then hopefully we get a few of the guys coming back. We'll see how they keep progressing. Mo, Chaz Green, Darius. We'll see how Matt Adams and Pittman are doing. They've all been making good progress. Hopefully most, if not all of those guys will be ready to go versus Detroit.
All right, we'll go Ken Sterling.
Hey, Coach, for you, is winning like yesterday, is that just a less painful way for you to learn and your team to learn, or is it a reason to celebrate, or both?
Yeah, I think it's both. I mean, people who know me know that I'm a both and kind of guy. You gotta have the maturity, I think, to look at it both ways. You do have to celebrate a little bit, especially maybe going into the bye where we're not going to let our guard down. That's really one message to the team. Even though it's a bye week, we're not on vacation. We're not on vacation. It's a bye. So we still have our guards up. We're still learning, growing, thinking, getting our bodies right, minds right. So, but you do get more rest. So in that sense, yeah, celebrate it a little bit. But in another way, we got to keep learning. I mean, we got to keep learning. We got to keep getting better.
Mike Chappell.
Frank, I'm sure part of the week will be that self-scouting and how you've used players and situations. Before you get into the deep dive, just your eye test, how do you think you've used Jonathan Taylor, and how do you think he's played?
I think we've used him well. I think yesterday was an example of that. I mean, didn't have a big day rushing the football, but had 100+ all-purpose yards. There's a guy coming out of Wisconsin that people think he doesn't catch the football. But I think we've used him in the passing game. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands. So get him in space, let him use his size and speed. And, I think that we've done a fairly decent job. We could do better. I mean, obviously we can do better. And I think he's doing well. I think he's getting better every week, running with more confidence. And, he has as good a work ethic and mindset and as conscientious as anybody on the team, even at a very, very mature, you guys know, you've talked to him, a very, very mature young man and a great teammate. So feel really good about where he's at and the trajectory he's on.
Quick follow-up. You're still learning about him, aren't you? I mean, you didn't have the off season. You're still learning.
Yeah, no doubt. Yes, still learning really about our team, the makeup, the chemistry of our team as an offense, things that we can do, how we do it, how we complement what we're doing. Those are all things that we'll continue to learn and adapt and hopefully get better.
Joel Erickson.
What's the outlook for Kemoko Toure?
He's making good progress. He's another guy I'd put in that list. I didn't mention his name, but, making good progress. We'll see after, we'll see after the bye whether he's ready for Detroit or not. Not sure about that yet, but he is making good progress.
Jim Aiello?
Hey, Frank, I could be wrong and drawing the wrong conclusions here, but did some of the deeper shots that Phillip took, especially with Marcus, do you think that maybe loosened up the defense to work underneath? I mean, there were a lot of catches for backs and tight ends, so I could be drawing the wrong conclusion. Just curious.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. It did help. Hit that deep one to Marcus. We had set that up, schemed it up, felt good about it the whole week. Really talked about, just thought we're hoping to get the coverage that we got. That doesn't always happen, but we got the coverage we wanted. Marcus did a good job. Phil threw a great ball. And you make a couple of those plays, and it does loosen them up a little bit, not only for the underneath stuff, but for the run game a little bit as well. So it's been good to see Phillip's confidence in Marcus throwing the ball deep, and it's been good seeing Marcus, going up and making plays. So we got to keep building on that.
George Bremer?
It seemed like there was a lot of shotgun and no huddle on Sunday. Is that something that maybe Phillip thrives with? And is that something when you do the self scout we might see a little more of?
Yeah, we certainly, he does thrive in it. I mean, I was with him for 3 years before, and we basically were no huddle for 3 years. I mean, to tell you the truth, for the better part of 3 years, we weren't always up tempo, but we basically didn't huddle for 3 years. And I don't think we're going to get to that. I think we want to mix it up. It did give us a spark. I just think when you get one dimensional, and that can mean a lot of different things, unless you're just a superpower, unless you're just better than the other team at every position. And we're a good football team, but I don't think there's any team in the NFL that can just line up and say, we're going to do the same thing on every snap, and we don't care if So I think our MO will be to continue to mix it up. And then that's the art of it. How much do you do? I mean, is it 10%? Is it 30%? If we get hot, do we go a whole game with it? Those are the coaching decisions that you got to make in the course of a game and of the season.
Kevin Bowen?
Frank, got a bye week question, I guess, on Jacob. What is his normal week like? Do you throw extra developmental periods with him? How much does he take reps in practice? Does he run your scout team? Could you just kind of explain a little bit of what his development is like?
No, he'll go out on the field, I'm sure, and get some work on his own. But we have to give the players 4 days off in a row. So that's why, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are kind of their 4 days off. So
I guess I mean during the regular season, not bye week specific. What is like a week, a normal regular season week like for him, meeting wise, practice rep wise?
Oh, I'm sorry, my fault. I misunderstood. He's obviously in all the meetings. He's not getting a whole lot of scout team reps. That's pretty normal. As the year goes on, he'll start to get some scout team reps. Jacoby takes most of those because he's the second priority to get him ready. Jacob does a good job of getting engaged. Phillip does a really good job with Jacoby and Jacob. They have a lot of side meetings. This is the part as a player, I can just tell you as a former player, this is where the gold is at for Jacob, that he's in there early with Phillip and Jacoby, and they're watching the third down tape by themselves, drawing up the plays, talking it through, the three of them. And they're doing that for red zone, and they're doing that in our base game plan. Jacob's going to learn a lot from being in our meetings in our offensive unit meetings, and he's going to learn a lot from being out of practice and getting work. But some of the the most mental development, this at least was my experience as well, was being in the quarterback room with just the quarterbacks, hearing the thought process from a player's perspective all the time. I'm just telling you, that is gold, and he's getting that from Phillip and Jacoby in ways that will be really significant as growth. And then after practice, he's doing a great job of working hard. He stays after every practice, throws. sometimes I go down there with him and watch him and kind of work through it with a little bit with him, but mostly it's Marcus. But he's doing a great job.
All right, three more. Stephen Holder.
Hey, Frank. With T.Y. Hilton, I think when people don't see the big chunk plays on a regular basis, maybe they make some assumptions about his production. What does the tape show you in terms of how effective he's been? I know he's had a few PIs, and maybe is his game evolving a little bit, or just is that just what he's kind of had so far this year?
Yeah, I was frustrated for Ty yesterday because, we throw for 370 yards and he's got one catch for 11 yards. I mean, you would never guess that in a million years. We could throw for that many yards. But to Ty's credit, he's just such a good teammate and wants us to win. So, what's my evaluation of what happened yesterday? My evaluation was he played well. He played really well. We had to catch on the sideline that I challenged and that got overruled. Okay. He has another big in cut that he's coming wide open. It's going to be a 30-yard game. It's one of the few, and Phillip is coming right to him. And it's one of the few plays in the whole game where Phillip gets pressure and gets pushed out of the pocket to the right. Otherwise, it's a 30-yard game to Ty. We had the screen play that just didn't quite hit. And then we had another one where Ty's going deep down the middle. And same thing, Phillip, it's a 2nd and 10 call. Ty's going down the middle, and Phillip gets pushed up out of the pocket to the right and ends up throwing it short right to Naheem as an incompletion. But had it fallen differently in the pocket and he got pushed the other way, his eyes are going to go to Ty, and it's going to be a 50-yard touchdown. So Ty's still doing Ty things. Just the ball just hasn't gone his way as much lately, and he's had a few bad breaks, and then he's had a few pass interferences.
Bob Kravitz.
Yeah, hi, Frank. Normally during a bye week, a lot of guys will go back to their hometowns or whatever. Have you tried to dissuade guys from going back home and staying here in sort of the semi-bubble rather than exposing themselves to the wider world and COVID?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, fortunately for me, I don't have to try to dissuade them because the league has basically mandated that they have to test every day. So, okay. And they have to test here. So there's just no way around that. And to the guy's credit, Bob, really, it was really great because, at first I think, when we gave that announcement, whatever, last week, hey guys, just so you know, don't plan on going anywhere because you're going to have to stay here and test. I think there was about a 10-minute period where everybody was upset about it and probably still not happy about it, but everybody knows we're in a unique year. I mean, it's just a unique year. So everybody just biting the bullet and saying, all right, so staying here. My guess is a lot of the guys are flying family members into Indianapolis to spend time here as opposed to going home.
Thanks.
Last one, Mike Wells.
Hey, Frank, what makes your tight end group so unique, and how do they complement each other?
They're all great football players. Meaning, they're just instinctive and they're tough and they're great teammates. That group is, you love it when you see them celebrate each other's successes and it's genuine. Like, it's not like, oh man, I wish I'm sure there's those thoughts that creep into all of us, right? But I think these guys genuinely root for each other. They're really talented, but they all have different skill sets. Jack is just, Mr. Reliable. He can do it all. He can run block. He can run great short to intermediate routes. Jack is an excellent route runner, not a good route runner. He's an excellent route runner. And he's really nifty and understands space and leverage really well in the short to intermediate range. Mo, the big, long guy, so more Gronk-like. He runs the power routes. He runs the more power routes. You get a crossing route to Mo, and people are afraid to tackle him. Get him more vertical down the field because of his length and his size. He can make those big plays down the field. And Trey is like a receiver. Trey has wide receiver skills. Trey is one of the best route runners on the team, period. This guy, I've been with Trey for a long time, and he just has incredible skills and ball skills, route running skills, ball skills, and is very instinctive football player. And so those, as you can see in describing those three gift sets, they're all different. And, they're all different, and that's how they complement each other.
I was going to ask you on that play on the touchdown by Trey. Did he have an option to pass there?
No, he had an option to hand it off, but he was joking all week about how that wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to hand it off. He was going to keep it the whole time, no matter what the read was.